It's that time again. I've got another Beauty Bay palette to review, another limited edition 20 pan. This is the Botanical eyeshadow palette. So I'm going to do a look for you, close-ups and swatches, so let's get into it. So like I said, this is another one of Beauty Bay's limited edition palettes. I do have all of them up to this point. It's kind of a Pokemon situation. I've got to catch them all. And it does retail for £16, which I think in general is a fantastic price for what you're getting from Beauty Bay for the quality of the shadows. I'm assuming this is going to be the same formula that I know and love. This is the outer packaging, the box that it comes in. I really like the packaging this time of the palette. So before I say anything else, let's get into those close-ups and swatches.
I know you don't mean to, but you're blocking my view. I know you got issues, but I got my shit too. I don't wanna be your therapy no more, no more. You don't wanna hear this, but it's you, it's not me. Ooh, gotta go and grab a spoon now. Ooh, make a life for myself. Ooh, I don't know what I'ma do now. Ooh, but I don't need your help. Get out of my way, my way. I'm moving on up. Don't make me stay, to stay. I'm done being stuck. Get out of my way.
So looking at the colour story, I can't lie, when I saw that a botanical palette was coming out and I saw sort of the sneak peeks and the teases that they were putting out on Instagram, I was so excited. Then when I saw the full colour story, that excitement level dropped just a little bit because I was hoping for a little bit more vibrancy. However, I am aware that a lot of people are going to love this colour story. I like the fact that there's a little bit of versatility in here. You do have a nice deep plum shade here. You've got some pinky mauves, you've got a peach, you've got the nice greens, you've even got some grey tones, and there is quite a lot of shimmers to pick from in this palette as well. Typically Beauty Bay shimmers are quite foily and putty-like, I'd say. I think some in here are different textures just from looking, because I haven't swatched this currently. It looks like there are different ones in here. Like this one looks more of a putty shade, whereas this one looks like it'll pick up a lot easier. Do you know what I mean? And I do like the fact that we do have a lighter shade and we have a very nice light green here, and we do have some depth and we have quite a few mid-tones. I like the curation of this colour story. I think it's quite well thought out, and you could sort of stick to monochromatic looks if you wanted fully green, more of a purpley pink, and then more of a peachy or grey, and this sort of taupe up here as well. Like, there are different ways you can go with this, but you know, today I'm definitely going to be using those greens. I'm just priming with my Natasha Denona eye base, and I'm thinking maybe a cut crease is the way to go today. That is very possibly what we're going to do. Okay, I kind of have a semi-plan in my head, so let me try and explain it to you. I'm thinking eggplant, the purple, kind of above where I want my cut crease, blended out maybe with a little bit of clay or June, and then maybe use some of the greens in the cut crease. So just going into that eggplant shade first, and then I kind of want to keep my eye a little bit relaxed while I'm kind of just seeing whereabouts I want this shade. I'm being very gentle right now, so it's not going to be super pigmented. Now this is very, very rough to begin with, and I am going to pack that a little bit as well, just toward the outer corner. But so far this is going on really, really nicely. It's super pigmented and vibrant. So now I'm kind of resembling some sort of panda. I am just going to take a clean fluffy brush and just start to wiggle on the edges of this before I blend it out and go in with another shade. This is definitely a trust the process kind of look. So then I am just going to take a little bit of the shade Clay, and then we may go into a little bit of June, like I said earlier, depending on how much I need to blend it out further. But going into Clay first and just sort of tapping this on the edge of that purple. If you are new here, hi, I'm Kerry and I love dramatic, colourful looks. And of course, if you don't want it to be as dramatic as this, you don't have to take it up as high and as far out as I have done. But I'm just going to go into a little bit of that June shade, which was the sort of light neutrally shade, just to blend, I'm knocking my mirror over, on the very edges and make sure I'm happy with the blend before I go in and do a cut crease. I am going to use a little bit of my Plouise cut carver just to remove what I want to remove before I go in with a little bit more primer, and then it's nice and fresh for where I want to pop the shimmers and mattes on the lid. Okay, so that is the cut crease on, and it looks a little bit better now, doesn't it? It doesn't look as scary. Okay, maybe it does a little bit, but you know. I also have left a gap on the lower lash line because I don't know whether I want to pop some green down there. I don't know what's happening down there yet. So I've left that little gap just to see what we're going to do. But I definitely want to use the shimmer Arttitude because it looks like pretty much my favourite in the palette, I think, just from looking before I've used any or swatched them. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to have to go in with Arttitude on the majority of the lid. And I'm thinking for the inner corner, matcha. As soon as I saw the shade, I love a matte inner corner, matcha going into the Arttitude. Everything, everything. So picking up matcha first, I'm so excited for the shade. And now my mirror's too far away from me. What's happening? Let me just tap out these creases. I will say, I feel like this palette is more of a spring colour story than a summer colour story, but I still think it's pretty, especially with the greens. Like I said, I do wish it was a little more vibrant personally for me, just because I like that, but like I say, I do really like the way that the colour story is curated. Look at that green next to the purple. Beautiful. Now I've picked up some of that Arttitude shade and we're just going to start... Okay, maybe I should have sprayed this. I'm feeling a little bit of fallout. It'd help if I actually sprayed in the direction of my brush. Oh, this shade is beautiful. I'm still getting a little bit of fallout. Go in very carefully with these shimmers. Use your finger or do your base after your eyes. Absolutely in love with that green shimmer. I think that is so, so stunning. And I think going from the green shimmer into the purple matte, I think I'm going to use the shade Quartz, which looks like it's a little bit shifty. Yeah, that one is definitely one of the more foily ones that's difficult to pick up. It's very putty-like. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not the easiest to pick up, and I do not like using sponge tip applicators. In this day and age, if I have to use a sponge tip applicator with a shade, then I'm not a fan. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of this carefully with my finger just to merge these two shimmers together. Oh, yeah. Oh, that matches so well because it's like got a bit of a greeny shift to it. Back in with a little bit of that first deeper purple just to make sure I'm happy with how the shimmer and the mattes are meeting. Oh, love these tones together. Do I put peach on the lower lash line? Because I could also use a little bit of Canyon with... That's nice. If I'd have swatched this palette first, I'd have just been putting that everywhere. Do you know what? I'm just gonna do it because I wouldn't normally, but I'm just gonna go for it, guys, because I do like the aesthetic of this colour story, so hopefully that means that these shades will just look really nice. Okay, I don't hate that, and I'm definitely gonna go in with the Canyon shimmer. Again, the Canyon shimmer is one of those difficult ones to pick up on a brush. It's not the easiest. I've sprayed it. I don't know if I picked up too much. I'm just going to hope for the best. Yeah, it's a little bit flaky, that one. It's definitely not the easiest to pick up with a brush. And I didn't really want to use my finger for that area. Okay, this is how we're looking right now. I am going to jump off and put some water activated liner just around that cut crease, stick something in my waterline, put some lashes on, all of that good stuff, and then we'll come back and see how it looks. Okay, so I didn't just go a little bit crazy with water activated liner. I may have actually stuck some foliage to my face, but I feel like it fits the botanical theme really nicely. They are just like little flowers and plants that you can get for nail art on Amazon. Really, really cheap. I got those such a long time ago. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to link them anymore. But I think it pulls it all together and it makes it feel very botanical. Now, I was digging around my collection to try and find a water activated liner that was like a nice sagey colour that would go with this look. And lo and behold, Beauty Bay pulled it out of the bag. I used this shade, and it is from the liner palette that is called, what is this called? An aquabated liner palette. Do you differentiate yourself between anybody else? It's the shade Flora anyway. I'll try and find it and link it down below, but I just thought it matched, no, that one, it matched absolutely perfectly for this look, and it just made that cut crease stand out and be a little bit sharper and look a little bit better than it previously did. And I did use my Plouise and Mikayla half lashes. I'm not quite sure which ones because they've moved around in the little holder quite a few times. And I'm actually not mad that I put that peach on the lower lash line because I just feel like it does feel a lot more like a garden, botanically. Plants, flowers, you know? There's a lot of colour. And for the waterline, I did use my P. Louise and Mitchell Acid Rain paint in Ibiza. I know it's more of sort of like a pastel-y purple, but I don't know, I just feel like it goes somehow. Somehow it works, you know? So let's talk about this botanical palette. Like I said, I love the packaging. I love the fact that we do keep getting these 20 pan limited edition palettes from Beauty Bay, and they don't keep continuing them as well because I feel like they've more or less covered every base with all of the palettes that they've brought out so far. Like there's a lot of them. They've done a lot of colour stories. I mean, I don't know how many more they can come out with and do different shades, which is probably why they are limited edition. I do think it's a little bit random to have the two greys down here. Are we going for sort of pavement? I don't know. But minus like sort of these three shades, I mean that could be a look on its own just with those three shades. I feel like it would be more botanical, and I would have replaced those personally with a little more pops of colour. Like not super bright neon colours, but just something a little bit more vibrant. Having said that though, I do quite like this colour story overall. I think it's more of a muted colour story for neutral lovers, and I feel like a lot of neutral lovers are going to enjoy this because you do have some more safer shades, like you do have your brown and your taupe, but also you do have some nice muted colours in here, and I just think it's super cute. I do think it leans more towards spring than summer, can't lie. But I am really impressed with the quality of the shades as I usually am. It's not my favourite formula in the world, but for the price from Beauty Bay, like £16 for a 20 pan palette, that's really good. Now, if you are somebody that struggles with shimmers that don't pick up easily on a brush, and you don't like to use a sponge tip applicator or your finger, that type of thing, some of these shimmer shades might cause a bit of an issue to you. But like I say, that Arttitude shade was easy to pick up on a brush and looks absolutely stunning on the lid. I wish more of the shimmers were that type of formula where they are easier to pick up and apply, because that is absolutely stunning. Like it doesn't have to be that putty-like material. Formula. I am excited to dive back into this again because I'm just looking at the shade Waterfall, and that is definitely a shifty shade. Like I can't wait to swatch this palette out because like I said when I was putting it on the lid, that quartz shade, it definitely goes from like a green to a purple. It's definitely a shifty shade, and Waterfall definitely looks to be the same. So I'm excited. And I do actually need to go off and swatch this palette for you now, so I need to stop rambling. Now this palette is more or less the formula I'm used to. From the shades that I've tried today, it is very, very similar to the other Beauty Bay palettes that I have. So if you were wondering if it was any different, I'd say it's the same formula as previously used. Like I say, going on the shades that I've used today, of course I'm going to use this palette some more. I can do more looks for you. If you have any ideas of what type of colours and what type of combinations you want me to do with this palette, please do let me know. I just know there's somebody in the comments that's just going to say palette bingo. I do have a Beauty Bay playlist if you want to check that out. I do have a lot of Beauty Bay eyeshadow palettes, and I did rank them at one point, but obviously my collection has grown since then. But you can check out that ranking if you're wondering what is good, what is not so good, what is my favourite type of colour story, that type of thing. Please do let me know down below if you like this look. Is this the type of thing that you would wear, and are you planning to pick up this palette? Is this your type of thing? Have you tried Beauty Bay before, or are you a newbie? It's very rare I've come across somebody that hasn't actually ever tried a Beauty Bay eyeshadow before. As always guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If this is the type of content that you enjoy, please do consider subscribing. It would mean a lot. And of course down below I will link my socials as well as my Patreon group and my YouTube membership, and hopefully guys I'll see you in my next video. Bye!